Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Dibs, Mr. Crockpot on X. Welcome to part 1 of my 5-part series ranking the top 50 players in the 2025 NFL Draft. Guys, if you love the draft and if you want more draft content, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. Let's go! Coming in number 1 in my rankings is cornerback Will Johnson out of Michigan. Will Johnson battled multiple injuries as a junior that caused him to miss 7 games and clearly limited him when he was on the field. And yet, he still deserves to be a top pick in the draft for how good he was his first 2 years. Johnson has the size, footwork, and ball skills needed to be an excellent corner in the NFL. This isn't a ball-hawking defender that doesn't bring value on rundowns. He's big and long, and it's difficult to wall off or block him on the perimeter. Johnson offers good eye discipline and feel for developing blocks, quickly stepping up to play, and setting a hard edge in run support. Johnson can play press, off-man, and zone. He's a technician who offers physicality and ball skills alike, making him one of the complete defenders in the 2025 NFL Draft. Overall, Will Johnson is a scheme-transcendent talent with the versatility to play multiple positions in coverage. He's easily a blue-chip talent, and I expect him to be taken within the top 5 next April. Coming in number 2, it is wide receiver cornerback Travis Hunter out of Colorado. Travis Hunter is a rarity as a legit two-way option for the NFL. From a performance perspective, I firmly believe his best outlook lies on the defensive side of the football. However, each franchise will have different criteria for traits at either position, and I can foresee a split among NFL franchises as to where to implement him best. The underlying commonality is that this is a player who has elite abilities to offer every team. It's just a matter of where. Hunter is a rare mover in space. His foot speed, hip fluidity, and body control allow him to showcase elite change of direction ability, both with the ball in his hands as a receiver and playing as an off corner in coverage. At corner, it is easy to be blown away by his wide field of vision and anticipation for attacking targets in zone. Travis Hunter is every bit a blue chip talent in this year's draft with a top 5 grade. Coming in number 3 in my rankings is edge Abdul out of Penn State. Get ready to hear plenty of analysts comparing Carter to Dallas Cowboys superstar Micah Parsons. Not only did both wear number 11 for the Nittany Lions, but Carter and Parsons each made the transition from off-ball linebacker to edge defender. While Parsons made his switch in the NFL, Carter started playing on the ball in his final college season, and like Parsons, Carter hasn't looked back. Carter's 64 pressures were the 3rd among FBS edge defenders. He's a ridiculous athlete, one that I expect to have ridiculous measurables during the coming months. The fact that he was so productive in just his first season as edge defender points to a star trajectory in the NFL, much like his Penn State predecessor. The challenge is going to be finding a home for him on rundowns. Carter's assimilation to a defense is likely to be a gradual one, but considering how fresh he is in his current role, there's little reason to doubt he can unlock these phases of his game. He's got the physical attributes to do it all. It's just a matter of developing a feel for run combinations and block shedding reflexes in linear hand-to-hand combat. Coming in number 4 in my rankings is Malaki Starks out of Georgia. Georgia's Malaki Starks is likely to be the first safety off the board in the draft and will likely fall a bit due to positional value, but make no mistake, this is every bit of blue chip talent in this year's draft. Starks never missed a game in his 3 years with the Bulldogs and was a starter as a freshman. In 2024, Starks recorded 77 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and a pick. He racked up 197 tackles and 6 picks in his 3 years at Georgia. He's a big-time closer, he's always making plays on the ball, and he's versatile, being able to line up as a traditional safety over the top or cause chaos in the slot. In other words, Starks is a well-rounded safety. He can simply do everything. He's also displayed elite coverage skills. While his interception totals were down in 2024, Starks recorded 25 or more tackles than the previous season. His elite athleticism will also be something to monitor over the next few months. Coming up number 5 in my rankings is wide receiver Ted McMillan out of Arizona. Ted McMillan is a prototypical X receiver at 6'5" and 212 pounds. His elite ball tracking ability at that size allowed him to make 35 contested catches over the last 2 years, more than any other receiver in college football. However, McMillan proved in his junior year that he's far more than just a receiver who dominates 50-50 situations, also forcing 29 missed tackles. The only FBS wideout who broke more tackles is another player on this list whose calling card is his after-the-catch ability, Luther Burden, and we'll be getting to him in just a minute. While he's not terrible at it, I think Tet McMillan can still improve his ability to beat man coverage. Teams looking to work the ball down the field will find his ball tracking ability, catch radius, and ability to win vertically attractive. And this does feel like the most immediate impact to success. As he develops more as a route runner, McMillan could become a featured centerpiece of a passing offense. Right now, I've got a top 5 grade on T-Mac, and I think the sky is the limit for T-Mac. Coming in number 6 in my rankings is defensive tackle Mason Graham out of Michigan. Mason Graham is about as safe of a bet as there is in the draft for the simple fact that he was a star from day one in Ann Arbor. Graham's motor, agility, and sheer strength at 6'3" and 320 pounds makes him nearly unblockable. He might not have all the prototype physical attributes, but as a late bloomer coming out of high school, you could see the growth coming from fundamentals, technique, and high football IQ. That, plus a hot motor and enough athleticism, he's got something to offer everyone. Graham has played up and down the D-line, and teams should have no qualms about him playing as a 1-tech, a 3-tech, or a 4-eye at the next level. He's got the hand usage to handle all of these roles in the NFL. In other words, Graham has all the alignment and scheme versatility you want out of a top pick, which should help see him quickly off the board in April. Coming in number 7 in my rankings is defensive tackle Walter Nolen out of Ole Miss. Walter Nolen is a bet-high prospect who is still in the process of learning how to put it all together. He has the ability to wreak havoc on the interior and offers alignment versatility thanks to his plus movement skills. In 2024, Nolen was tied for the team lead in tackles for loss with 14. He was also 3rd in sacks with 6.5, 5th in total tackles with 48, alongside forcing 3 pass breakups, 3 quarterback hurries, and 2 fumble recoveries. In SEC play, he led all defensive players with 12 tackles for loss. Overall, Nolen has all the tools to be a starter within his first 2 years in the NFL and has Pro Bowl, All-Pro potential down the line. Schematically, he's fairly versatile for someone who could line up as a 3-tech in even fronts and play as a 4-eye tech in odd fronts. I see shades of Fletcher Cox with Walter Nolen's profile as a guy who can dominate within multiple roles on a D-line due to his top-notch power and athleticism. If this guy puts it all together, Walter Nolen has some of the highest upside in the entire draft. Coming up next, number 8, wide receiver Tre Harris out of Ole Miss. Injuries kept Tre Harris out of 5 games last year and likely cost him the Blitnikoff Award as well. He finished the year with an absurd 5.15 yards per route run, the most by a Power 5 receiver since 2014. He has great size at 6'3", 210 pounds, and is dangerous after the catch. Harris has shown the ability to win a rep in multiple different ways, but his ability in the red zone in contested catch situations is going to lead multiple teams having him ranked really highly on their board. There are some serious question marks about his game though, specifically with his limited route tree and ability to consistently get open. Since 2023, Harris has been in just the 11th percentile of FBS receivers in terms of separation rate against single coverage. If he can show legit separation skills during the upcoming draft process with teams, you can pretty much lock him in as a first-round pick in the 2025 draft. Coming in number 9 in my rankings is wide receiver Luther Burden out of Missouri. Luther Burden is a menace after the catch. His 50 forced missed tackles on receptions since 2023 is the 3rd most among FBS receivers, and his 1,097 yards after the catch are 4th most. He's more than just an after the catch receiver though, hauling in 55.9% of his contested targets over the last 2 years. While Burden still has some work to do as a route runner, he's an electric receiver with the ball in his hands and possesses great athletic gifts. He wreaks havoc on defenses when he gets in space, spinning off tackle attempts, accelerating downfield in a hurry, or powering through defensive backs for extra yards. Burden also possesses the body control and strong hands to adjust to high throws and back shoulder passes. His numbers from 2024 might not scream top 10 pick, but don't be surprised if he ultimately goes that early. Last but not least, coming in number 10 is tight end Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Tyler Warren was quarterback Drew Allar's favorite target last season, leading the Nittany Lions with 104 receptions with over 1,200 yards. That's 58 more receptions and 513 more yards than the team's second leading receiver, Harrison Wallace. As a prospect, Warren might not be quite as explosive as Theo Johnson from last year, who completely blew up the NFL Combine with a 993 RAS score, but his route tree is more expansive, he's a better run blocker, and he's got legit versatility in his own right. He can line up anywhere on offense. Warren is an explosive, multi-talented athlete and a mismatch option unlike any other in the class. He's not as refined as Brock Bowers, but he'll have a similar level of presence for any offense at the next level. Warren's area of growth is developing his route running and detailing. The upside of Tyler Warren is as high as any tight end that has entered the draft the last 5 years, at least in my opinion. I fully anticipate him developing into an upper echelon tight end within the first 3 years of his career. Alright guys, that's part 1 of my 5-part series breaking down my top 50 players in the 2025 NFL Draft. Do you agree or disagree? Be on the lookout for part 2 coming soon, breaking down players 11 through 20. For everything draft, make sure you lock it down to Party on Broad. Thank you everyone for watching. Stay awesome.